Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Welcome, members and guests and staff. It is the January 27th, 2026 council meeting. And a quick reminder that our meetings are web streamed and televised. So if everyone could take a moment to ensure their phones are on silent, that would be greatly appreciated. With that, I call January 27th, 2026 council meeting to order and note that Councillor Vandendriessche, Huffman, and Berry are present today. However, they're attending virtually. All other members are present. The municipality of Norfolk County is committed to furthering truth and reconciliation in our communities. We recognize the historical and current contributions of Indigenous peoples throughout Canada, and particularly in Norfolk County, that have added to the rich cultural and social fabric that exists here today. We will strive to continually strengthen and develop the spirit of respect, cooperation, and collaboration to the mutual benefit of all Norfolk County residents. Changes to the agenda. We have two. The first is to add a deputation from Alan McBride regarding agenda item 12.1.1, 215 Victoria Street, Simcoe. And then the second is to move the agenda item 12.1.1 staff report on that same matter to after the deputations. Is there any other addition or change request from council members? Seeing none. Okay, we need a 2/3 majority to waive the rules of order and add those. Is there a mover and a seconder? Councillor Columbus, Councillor Brunton, all in favor? And then to accept the amended agenda, moved by Councillor Michelle, Councillor Duthie, all in favor? Carried, thank you. Are there any declarations of pecuniary interest today? Councillor Columbus?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, I've got a conflict to report with respect to agenda item 10.1. This is the council and committee minutes, item 8.2.1. It's a water wastewater collection policy, and I've got a conflict with respect to the portion dealing with the landlord and tenant component of that policy, according to what the Integrity Commissioner informs me.
Okay. Please feel free to just turn on your microphone and remind me if I don't remember when we get to that section, but I'll make a note of it. Anyone else? Did I miss anyone? Okay, great. We have early closed session, just one item that we have to deal with prior to our open session meeting. I'm looking for a mover for the following motion: that council enter into closed session at 1:04 p.m. to discuss items pursuant to section 239(2)H of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, as the subject matter pertains to information explicitly supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board by Canada, a province or territory, or a crown agency of any of them. Moved by Councillor Van Passen, seconded by Councillor Duthie. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Thanks. How long roughly? 5-10 minutes. We should be back very quickly.
Hey Norfolk County, did you know that Ride Norfolk is now on demand? This means you can schedule Norfolk's public transit service to pick you up for appointments, shopping, school, or work. Ride Norfolk has partnered with Blaze Transit to offer on-demand pickups at all 95 stops across Norfolk, including this one. I booked my trip earlier today and my bus is here right on time. Since there are no fixed local schedules, you can easily book Ride Norfolk over the phone, online, or on the Blaze Transit app from your smartphone. Thanks, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Ride Norfolk's customer service team can help answer any questions you may have, get you started with the app, or book your next ride. By moving to on-demand, Ride Norfolk is helping more residents get where they need to go. To learn more, visit norfolkcounty.ca/transit.
Hi, I'm Marissa, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's waste and recycling operations. Here at the transfer station in Simcoe, residents can bring a variety of waste materials for disposal. Norfolk operates 2 transfer stations, welcoming about 27,000 customers every year, and accepts material ranging from bulky items, wood, metal, and yard waste. Norfolk also provides curbside waste programs. Recycling from your home arrives at this facility where it is manually sorted by the type of material. You can see why it's important to separate materials into the correct bin, rinse recyclables, and remove items from bags. This facility processes 4,600 metric tons per year. That's equal to about 20 tons per day. Once items are sorted by material type, they are baled and ready to be shipped across North America to be made into new material. About 8 to 10% of the material that arrives here shouldn't have been put in the recycling bin. Residents can use our Recycle Coach app to confirm if an item can be recycled. After seeing how waste is handled, I hope this video helps show why rinsing and sorting your recyclables are important steps in the recycling process. As a Norfolk County employee, I am proud to serve the community I was raised in. Thanks for joining me on this behind-the-scenes tour.
This summer, discover the hidden gem of Norfolk County, Ontario's garden. Stroll through historic villages where time seems to slow down. Feel the sand between your toes on our pristine Lake Erie beaches. From live theater that captivates to trails that wind through breathtaking landscapes, adventure and relaxation await at every turn. Meet the farmers who grow your dinner and taste wine and beer crafted right here. Experience Norfolk County this summer, where small-town charm meets farm-fresh flavor. Ontario's garden. It's time you came home to it.
Hey Norfolk County, I'm Chris, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes to show you how Norfolk County manages stormwater in our towns and communities. Stormwater isn't just rain or melted snow. It's any excess water that runs off hard surfaces like roads, driveways, and rooftops. But where does that water go? And why is managing it important? Norfolk's stormwater systems include pipes, ditches, catch basins, and ponds that work together to manage this runoff. Stormwater systems like ponds slow the flow and allow dirt and pollutants to settle and release cleaner water into the environment. Without proper management, stormwater can flood basements, damage roads, and carry contaminants like oil, garbage, and salt into our rivers and lakes. That's why Norfolk County created a dedicated stormwater team in 2024 to better understand and maintain what we already have while planning for the future. This stormwater pond in Port Dover helps to reduce flooding and improve water quality. Over time, sediment and pollutants build up within storm ponds, limiting their ability to hold water. This creates an ideal environment for algae and invasive plants like Phragmites to flourish. This fast-growing species can block out the flow of water and crowd out native vegetation, reducing the habitat that local wildlife.
Okay, that was very speedy. Thanks, staff. Mover and a seconder to reconvene in open session at 1:10, moved by Councillor Van Passen, seconded by Councillor Michelli. All in favor? And reporting out the report, let's see, 4.1 on the agenda was received as information. We have nothing else to report, correct, Mr. Clerk? Okay. Consent items. 5.1, we have the 2026 interim property tax levy CS 26002. I'm looking for a motion to receive consent item 1 as presented. Councillor Van Passen and Councillor Huffman, all in favor. Carried. 2 communication items are before council today. 6.1 is a letter from Todd Stepanek and Peter Kraus of Norfolk General Hospital, a letter of appreciation. And the second is Long Point Conservation Authority, the Roma 2026 package. A mover and a seconder, please, to receive both of those as information. Councillor Columbus moves, Councillor Berry seconds. All in favor? Carried. Great, we'll move along to deputations. We have 3 now that we've changed the agenda. First, we have Scott from Valley Consulting, and this is concerning agenda item 12.1.1, 215 Victoria Street. Welcome, whenever you're ready.
Thank you, Madam Mayor and Council. Here to talk about the development proposed at 215 Victoria Street. Next slide, please. So back in October, the original application was brought forward that included a mid-rise building with 45 residential units, a mix of 1 and 2 bedroom, that street-facing facade, perimeter landscaping. We were showing access via Austin Crescent and Donnelly Drive South, as you can see on the original site plan, with no access proposed off of Victoria Street. Next slide, please. So following that meeting, we did have concerns from both staff and public. Since October, we've been working with both Norfolk County staff and receiving input from the public to try to reduce some of the impacts and the concerns that were raised at that October meeting. Particularly the concerns we heard were density and building height, not enough parking on the area. There was particular concern of spillover parking into Austin Crescent. Traffic concerns along Donnelly Drive, the number and location of proposed entrances to the site with both Donnelly and Austin Crescent, and sort of the issue of with the way it was set up that it might be used for a shortcut through the existing subdivision into Austin Crescent there. So since then, next slide please, we've worked with staff to bring back an updated application. They spent 4 months since then trying to work to update the application to include a number of changes. Includes site compatibility, so maintaining those large setbacks from the existing residential area and being as close to the road as possible while maintaining that appealing street facade. Adjusting the building orientation so that primary entrance is now facing towards Victoria Street, vice facing inwards to the development. The height and density, so the reduction of 5 stories to 4 stories. So now the reduction in units to 23 one bedrooms, 12 2-bedroom units. So a total reduction in 10 units from 35 from 45. Big thing here with that reduction in the height and the density, the on-site parking complies with all zoning. So it meets the zoning bylaw requirements for parking from the standards set in the bylaw. The adjusted vehicle access, so again, both sites, the access off Donnelly has been removed and the access off Austin Crescent has been removed with the sole access provided off Victoria. The intent there is to reduce people using Donnelly Drive, encourage traffic out. Anybody heading north will take Victoria out to Ireland Road, head north to Highway 3 and to wherever it is they may go. Obviously, we can't force people to do that, but with that site orientation, it was felt it would help encourage traffic flows in those directions. Next slide, please. So here's our updated site plan. Again, it's very similar from where sort of the building is in relation to the existing residential development, but certainly a reconfiguration of the parking lot. That site entrance, as you can see on the south, is the in-out route off Victoria. It's confirmed, I know we did chat about where is the actual property line. So that area in red is already owned by Norfolk County. That was road widening that was taken back in the 80s or 90s. I'd have to go back on title to see when that actually happened, but it's already taken into account. All the requirements are based off the property line, which is that thick black line that runs along Victoria to provide that updated site plan. And then again, like we said, the vehicular access, it was the key configuration here with the removal from Donnelly and Austin Crescent. And then obviously the reduction in density from 5 floors to 4. Next slide, please.
1 minute remaining.
So just provided some elevations to provide some sort of context of what it would look like from the street. Again, if you down by coming in on Robinson by the golf course there, that's a 4-story building to just give some height perspective of what a 4-story looks like. Next slide, please. So again, as you can see, the changes, there's been a lot of eliminating requirements. The only introduction is that special provision for restricting the building to 4 floors instead of 5. The bylaw has definitely been simplified with these elimination of requirements. Next slide, please. Next steps. Can't commit to timelines. Here is what a potential timeline could look like. Obviously, the site still needs to go through extensive site plan review, the detailed engineering of the site. I encourage council to ask any questions they might have about that. But that's a general sort of what would be hoped for, but can't be guaranteed. Next slide, please. I can take any questions council may have.
Perfect timing. Thank you, Scott. Questions from council? Councillor Brunton.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Just very quickly, Scott, is this a slab on grade or is there a basement for utilities? How's it work?
I believe there is yes, there will be a basement. I believe storage will be in the basement, utilities, that type of thing in the basement.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Duthie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, Scott, thanks for your work on this and to your client. I appreciate that the concerns of the residents were really, for the most part, from what I can see, listened to, so I appreciate and respect that. I'm curious on I think I'm looking at the northeast side, so abutting, sort of there's a row of homes there on Donley. Is there, I think it's in purple, and sorry, I've just got my iPad back because it was acting up. Is there any landscape buffer along there?
So both the north and the eastern property lines will require the solid wood fence. Generally, I think it's the 3 meter or 2 meter high fence, whatever the site plan requirements are. So it's a solid wood fence. There can be also other landscaping for bushes, things like that, to reduce any sort of that impact of that reduction from the 3 meters to the 2 meters for the distance from the parking. So that can be included in the site plan requirements to make sure we're reducing any of those impacts from having that reduction from 3 to 2 meters.
Okay. I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Did I miss anyone online? No, I think we're good. Thanks, Scott. Let's receive all 3 deputations as information at once, if that's okay. And we'll move along to Margaret Trucker, which is item 7.2 on our agenda. Same item of discussion, 215 Victoria Street, Simcoe. Welcome. You have 5 minutes. I can let you know when you have 1 minute remaining, but I think last time you were right on schedule, so take it away.
Okay. Mayor and Council, I appreciate the opportunity to speak once again. In the meeting on October 8th, 2025, the major concerns mentioned were traffic, on-site parking, and where the entrance and exit would be, and children walking to and from school. Some of these issues seem to have been addressed, and it was stated that water and sewer could handle this extra build. And have all the bylaws now been met, such as distance from the road and line of sight? Other concerns that I have are several. In 2024, the provincial government put in place the Get It Done Act, where they wanted 1.5 million homes built by 2031. This seems to place stress on the building that the municipal planning boards have to approve. Has an assessment been done to determine the need for this type of housing? Is all of the building in the county meant to reach the expectation of the provincial government, in spite of what we want? If this build is approved, we do not know how long it would take. During construction, the locals would be coping with heavy vehicle traffic, noise, dust, and dirt. It's a common thing in a building site, but a privacy fence was mentioned previously, but who would benefit? The residents on the first floor and closest neighbors. There would be no privacy for others who would have exposure to residents of the mid-rise. The outside enjoyment of our properties could be affected during and after the build. Is it an unknown as to what happens to property values when an apartment building is built in a low-density community? Will homes close to the build be overshadowed, or will it be situated on the property to minimize that? And it seems that that's been taken into consideration. This is one build, but others are in the works. How will all of these builds affect our community? Adding this build into the mix can place further strain on our hospital, which already struggles to meet the needs of the current population. Can our schools accommodate more children? And how many more emergency medical service personnel, firemen, and policemen would we need? Considering the lack of industry or jobs in the county, would it be safe to assume there would be more commuters on already crowded highways? Given that this is a low-density area, I still don't believe that this is an appropriate location for the build, in spite of the changes that have been made. It simply would not fit in, and no one making the decisions about this lives or would be affected by that build. And the local people who are right there on the spot would be when it's in construction and after. Thank you for your time.
Thank you for your deputation. Are there any questions for Margaret? No, that's okay. Not seeing any. Thank you for coming. And now we have Alan. Alan, welcome. You have 5 minutes for your deputation. There's a button on the right-hand side. You can turn the microphone on, and I will let you know when you have 1 minute remaining.
Thank you to the mayor and council for allowing me to have a moment to speak. I just wanted to make some references. The one is the map that is no longer up on the screen. The garbage extends beyond the parking lot within 1.5 meters of the sidewalk. That's very concerning for me. How do you buffer the odors? And it becomes a little thing that you can hide behind at night for predators or whatever, because it's now a disturbance in the line of sight going down the street. In the application, it references 3 lot lines are on the street. Now, it appears to be basically a square property, and they're counting the little curve in the corner as a lot line to say 3 are on the street. But 2 of the lot lines do, the long lot lines, exist next to residential homes. And the fact that when you say you're trying to meet all the codes, you have to have an exemption for the floor ratio because you want it a little higher. You have to have an exemption on the frontage because it's going to be a little lower. Then you want an exemption on, like, it keeps going. And I don't feel that's meeting the code. You set these codes and everybody else built by them. Now those people might want to sell their home. Is their value going to be impacted by the fact you have allowed others to come in with a lesser code, build a little cheaper, and then they're going to compete against you in your dwelling when you want to sell it? The next thing is, it's been mentioned numerous times, at one point it's a dwelling, one point it's a condo, one point it's apartments. I'd really like clarification as to what it is specifically. And the high traffic at Victoria and Donley is amplified by the fact there's a lot of student traffic, both going to Fanshawe and going to the school, the local school. And that has become a safety issue there. And I don't see how adding another 65 cars in the mix at that close to the intersection is a very positive thing as well. So I'd really like some consideration to try and meet the bar rather than just say we're close to the bar, so let's proceed. And I thank you for your time.
Thank you very much for coming. Are there any questions for Mr. McBride? Seeing none. Okay. Oh, sorry, Councillor Michelli, and then Duthie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Sir, thank you very much for coming and making your deputation. When you were asking for clarification on what it is exactly that these, you described condos, apartments, which is it? Have you not received an answer to that question?
No, that's why I just asked it.
Okay, so I would like, with your permission, to ask staff if Madam Mayor will allow me. Can we get clarification on exactly what these units are?
We're going to go into the staff report right after we receive the deputation, so I'll return to you with that. Councillor Duthie?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, Mr. McBride. Thank you for being here and for sharing your thoughts. Can I just get a little bit more clarification on the issue that you raised around the placement of the garbage collection?
Yes.
I'm sorry, I didn't follow all the way, so if you
Well,
could just...
if the map could come back up, it's on Donnelly, and it's at the end of the parking lot, which there wants an allowance to be closer to the street than it should be, and then the garbage dumpsters stick out further so that they look to be about 1.5 meters from the sidewalk. They're an extension beyond the parking, and I think they should be contained within. I think that there's numerous problems from having something out there, and how's it going to be bordered with some green, with just a fence? Is it going to be something somebody can hide behind? Is it going to have odors? I find numerous concerns about that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'm not seeing any other hands, so thank you, Mr. McBride, for joining us. A mover and a seconder, please, to receive all 3 deputations, item 7.1, 7.2, and 7.3 as information. Moved by Councillor Huffman, seconded by Councillor Van Andrieschie. All in favor? That's carried. We will move along to the staff report, and maybe we can also call on Scott to supplement questions and answers that staff might not have, if council's okay with that, a little bit of a tag team approach. So we are on agenda item 12.1.1, which is staff report CDS 25061.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Madam Mayor and council members. Through the chair, I have chopped out a little bit of my report now that we've brought it forward to immediately follow the deputation to try and avoid duplication. This file was first seen at Public Hearing Committee meeting on October 8th, 2025. The applicant has proposed a zoning bylaw amendment to change the use of the land from neighborhood commercial to urban residential type 5 with an amended special provision 14.729 to facilitate the construction of a 4-story apartment complex and associated parking. Just to understand the nature of the building and to come to Councillor Michelle's question, it is, I mean, the only difference between an apartment and a condo is a matter of ownership. It's not, there is no real difference at this stage, and that is something that can be determined later down the road. The associated bylaw would change the use of the land with the special provision 14.729 to amend the height limit of the building to a maximum of 4 stories and grant relief in terms of parking distance vehicles can be parked. It would no longer include any relief for parking or for floor area ratio as was previously seen at public hearing. Given this, it is the proposed opinion of staff that application ZNPL 2025-146 be approved as outlined in staff recommendation report CDS 25061. Thank you. I'm here for any questions.
Much. We'll open it up for questions, but just for clarity, I heard you just say the height limit meets, the parking relief is no longer requested, and the floor ratio is met. So as per Mr. McBride's comments where it's not meeting the bylaw, can you just please clarify for the public what the special provision request is? That's the only item that doesn't meet, correct?
Through the mayor, that's correct. So the special provision is basically for distance away from the building that vehicles can park. That is in the bylaw, it's required to be 3 meters, and certainly on the, I believe, north side of the building, it's only going to be 2 meters, at least at this time in the indicative site plan. But again, that's the sort of thing that we'll get, those details will be hammered out at the time, but that's the only change.
Thank you very much. Councillor Michelle, the comments on ownership and so on, that can fluctuate and change. Is that sufficient for you, or do you wish to ask something else?
Yeah, thank you, Madam Mayor. Yeah, I guess I wouldn't mind maybe just a little explanation if staff could just provide how does ownership distinguish between a condo and an apartment? Are we talking about rentals, or is there some other criteria?
Go over to Ms. Call.
Through the mayor to Councillor Michelle. So a condo is just a type of ownership. It can be any type of building. So we have condo, townhouses, apartments. The actual physical structure is an apartment building. I believe it's planned to be rental, or is this not determined yet? I don't know. But
We'll get Scott
physically
to
it will
supplement.
be an apartment building. Condo will just determine whether each unit is owned separately or if the whole building's owned by one person.
Thank you. So through the mayor to Councillor Michelle. So yes, from the ownership group standpoint, they're right now obviously in the initial land use approvals. Really what's going to drive whether it's condo or rental will really be market conditions at the time of construction, which depending on how long site plan takes, if there's no market, so it could be 3 years from now that right now maybe apartments make sense, maybe in 3 years condo makes sense, maybe it's the opposite. So following site plan approval is when they would have to decide if they wanted to do a condominium, because then an additional application is required in Norfolk County for a condominium application, which then allows units to be registered with the Land Registry Office. If it was just apartments, following site plan approval, it would be under one ownership, obviously the ownership group of the apartment complex. So market conditions is the answer, and that'll be when they're done the site plan approvals process, when that decision will likely be made. Hopefully that answers the question.
Thank you.
Madam Mayor, we did note just in the bylaw, so the only parking requirement, we did notice just in the implementing bylaw, it does say no parking shall be located closer than 3 meters from any interior lot line. As shown on the site plan, we're showing 2 meters rather than 3. 3 is the bylaw requirement, so just there is a typo in the implementing bylaw that does need to be fixed. We are showing, as per our request, the 2 meter setback from the interior lot line. And if council does want information on the garbage, I'm happy to answer.
Sure, while you're up here, go for it.
While I'm up here, I'll use the opportunity. So the garbages themselves, yep, there's no setback from property lines. They will be the Moloch system, if you've ever seen those. They're they're not the big dumpsters that roll in and out. They're the Moloch system that sits deeper into the ground. They're those round ones that have those dome shape that seal tightly. Then they come in, the garbage truck cranes them out and dumps them in. They were designed for that reduced smell, reduce the eyesore of a closed-in area with fences, because they don't need to be closed in generally by fencing. So it's that Moloch system. I think they're at the Tim Hortons by the bridge, if anybody does want to take a look at what the Moloch system looks like. So they go vertically into the ground a lot deeper, take up less area, and then obviously have a much firmer sealing lid on them. So that's to help to reduce those concerns with smell and visual appeal and things like that. So,
Councillor Duthie, was that going to be your question? Okay, Councillor Brunton.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. My question to Scott is there some kind of stormwater storage on site that I assume you're looking at?
Yeah, so through the mayor, yes. So there'll be underground chambers. I'm not an engineer and I won't pretend to be one.
Okay.
But generally on these sites, if you don't have a stormwater management pond, you have underground chambers, storage chambers that the water gets collected into and then released into the municipal sewer and then taken wherever it outlets to from there.
So the question always gets confusing for me. If it's condominium, they look after it, but in this case, if it's rentals, I assume the owner looks after it. It's all on his property.
So through the mayor, sorry, Councillor.
I don't know if Andrew, is that?
I will happily take the question.
Yeah, go ahead, Scott.
So if it's a condo, the condo corporation is responsible for it. So all of the tenants collectively are responsible through the condo corporation. If it's rental, then it's whoever the owner of the apartment is responsible for the on-site system.
Okay, thank you.
Good with that, Mr. Grace? Thanks, okay. Any other questions for Scott while he's up here? We can dismiss him again and go back to the staff report. Thanks, Scott, for that additional information. That's very helpful.
Thank you, Council.
Any other questions for our staff on the staff report? I think the only thing that hasn't been addressed, we spoke at the public hearing meeting and had engineering comments on the record about traffic, volumes, and safety. The garbage has now been addressed. I think it's just Margaret's comments. So maybe I can pose this one to staff. The 1.5 million homes from the government, maybe through to Ms. Cull, do you feel stressed to approve housing units inappropriately to meet 1.5 million homes?
To the mayor, no, I don't feel stressed about it. I think in this circumstance, staff are satisfied regardless of the provincial direction that it's an appropriate spot for an apartment building.
Okay, thank you. And to maybe Ms. Cull again, have any assessments been done specifically in Norfolk to tell us what type of housing types we should be driving towards? Or do you have any information off the top of your head, or from a planning perspective, do you prefer a certain type of housing? Can you comment on that for Ms. Trucker's deputation?
To the mayor, so the official plan does direct us to have a variety of housing types. This is and to use land efficiently. I don't know that we have anything that says this is what % of apartments we need, that type of thing, but we don't get a ton of apartment proposals. So we also know that there's a very low vacancy rate for rentals in Norfolk County, so that's another reason we'll be supportive of this. Again, it's very case by case on what's appropriate and what location, but for this circumstance, I think it kind of checks the box in terms of higher density in an appropriate location, not too high density, servicing's available. Yeah, so we're supportive.
Okay, thanks for that. Last time I checked, it was 0.4% rental vacancy in Norfolk County, which is very, very low. And then lastly, hospitals, provincial schools, provincial OPP, provincial, not that we're passing the buck, but those aren't factors or contributing parts of the conversation on the municipal planning level. When we decide about housing, it would be lovely to have more resources for all of the above, certainly in our community, no doubt, but those are not reasons for council to be able to deny a housing unit. If we said we didn't approve the housing unit because we felt we didn't have enough OPP resources, that would not give us a leg to stand on in the appeal process. So I just wanted to comment on those 3 items for you. Councillor Van Passen.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Just one other little thing. Is the agent correct that that is a typo in the bylaw on the 2-meter setback for the parking spaces? It is what's on the map, right?
Through the mayor to Councillor Van Passen, yes, it was supposed to both say, there's 2 setback reliefs in there, and they were both supposed to say 2, so I did confirm with Scott, and I've asked Lakin to correct that for us.
Just make sure the clerk gets it converted when we do the bylaws before the end of the meeting.
Okay. All right, thank you very much, everyone. So there is a staff recommendation before council. Does someone wish to move that or propose an alternative? Councillor Columbus?
So moved.
Thank you very much. Is there a seconder? Councillor Van Passen, any debate or discussion on the topic? Councillor Columbus, the floor is yours.
Just wanted to say at the October 8th Public Hearing Committee meeting, I did question Scott about reducing the number of floors from 5 to 4, and he had indicated that it may not be a viable project. So I'm really happy to see that this is happening, and it's relieved a lot of the other criteria that had to be met. Thank you.
Agreed, thank you. Anyone on the screen wish to debate? Okay, I'm going to call the question. All in favor? That's carried unanimously. Thank you. Next, we do not have any presentations on our agenda, so we'll move along to approval of the minutes. First up is item 9.1, which is the council meeting minutes of December 16th, 2025. Moved by Councillor Brunton and seconded by Councillor Huffman. All in favor? Carried. Reports of Committee of the Whole. 10.1 is the council and committee meeting minutes of January 13th. And 10.2 is the budget committee meeting minutes, November 20th, 2025. Mover and a seconder, please. Councillor Michelle and Councillor Berry, all in favor? Carried. Advisory committee meeting minutes. Before you, we have quite a few. Does anyone wish to speak to any of them? Okay, 11.1 through to 11.7. All right. Is there a mover and a seconder to receive all of the above as information? Councillor Van Andrieschie and Very move. All in favor? Carried. Any opposed? Nope, we're good. Staff reports and discussions, again, so nothing under community and development services, corporate services. Will move right along to staff report CS 26001. Over to Mr. Fleming to give us our update on the water and wastewater collection policy and program update.
Good afternoon, Council. So I'm just here today to speak on our water and wastewater collection policy again. At the committee meeting 2 weeks ago on January 13th, committee deferred report CS 26-001, looking for more information, particularly around our user fees that were estimated for the purposes of our arrears collection notices. To supplement the discussion today, we have prepared an additional memo as included as part of this agenda, which provides a bit more information on that. Based on council or committee's direction, staff undertook a more fulsome review of an estimated fees based on a bit more of a deep dive into them. Table 1 of our supplemental memo summarizes the fees that were calculated to be a cost recovery basis. You'll note that in the original report, the fee for the 6-day reminder was set at or estimated at $5. Revised, it's at $4.28, and the other two for the 30 and 45 day have been revised down from $10 to $6.73. I just want to put a reminder that these fees are not intended to generate money, but they are to ensure that those that benefit from the services of reminder notices are paying for those services, and the costs of those are not passed on to other users within the rate base. Table 2 within that memo provides a bit of a summary in terms of if those fees are not charged, what the impacts would be for the average residential rate user. In aggregate, it would be about $4 annually. There was also some discussion at the committee meeting as well around the paper bill surcharge of $2 per bill. Staff are confident that number remains consistent with what was prepared originally. And just for context as well, similar to what was shown in Table 2, staff also pulled the similar number as presented in Table 3. On a basis of 25% of people would be signed up for e-billing, the remaining 75% that receive paper bills, that cost would be passed on to the other existing rate users and result in $5.69 savings should council adopt a rate for that for the average residential property. We are, again, these are still estimates, these rates, and they won't be finalized until presented as part of the 2027 user fee bylaw. We're looking forward to bringing some more information back at that at a later date once that becomes available, and looking forward to having the discussion today to hopefully get this policy approved if we can. We are available should committee have any questions or council have any questions. We're more than happy to dive into a bit more if there are.
Questions from council? Councillor Brenton.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. I'm not sure if this is the place to ask the question, but I had a call last week from an individual that had a water bill problem with a tenant, and I tried to explain to him where this is going, but my question, he indicated there's an app available to monitor water use. Is that are you aware of that or no?
Mr. Grice?
Yes, certainly. So through the mayor, yes, there are various apps depending on the provider you have for your meter technology or your billing provider. We are currently working with our meter provider Census, and that is something that we will have live in the near future. It is really intended, as you said, to provide people access to the real-time water usage, but is to avoid having leaks on your property that may go undetected. So we hope to roll that out sometime, hopefully by summer this year, and we'll have some communications and outreach that go along with it so people are aware of how to use it.
Okay, and is that part of the where the landlord has to get permission from the tenant, or the two of them have to agree on that? I assume it's confidential if it's the tenant to use that app. Would that make sense?
So through the mayor, I think that's something we'll have to look at in more detail. I haven't thought of the logistics around the tenant-landlord relationship, but I'm certainly, there's something we can work through, whether it's a sign-off to allow access or that. We'll certainly explore that as part of our rollout.
Well, what I understand is we're going to have that ability of the landlord to deal with the tenant and keep track of his own usage. If it's his building, he's paying the bill if it doesn't get paid, correct?
Yeah, through the chair, yes, that is correct. So under our current system for water bills, we do have a sign-off process with our current provider where landlords can gain access to tenant accounts. So that's an existing process that I'm sure could be utilized for a similar kind of purpose. I will say, though, under our collection policy that we're proposing today, that's before you, all water accounts will have the primary owner will be the property owner. So that sign-off process and releases won't be necessary because it will be the property owner will have that information by virtue of being the primary account holder.
Okay, thank you.
Councillor Columbus?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And I still have a concern with respect to the bi-monthly billing. I just think that going 2 months is going to be too difficult for a lot of families, large families, pensionable seniors. And I don't know how everybody else feels about it, but I just think I know you can do e-billing and e-payments, but a lot of people in our county are not familiar with that process.
Just a quick reminder, Councillor Huffman raised it last time, but the system does have the equal billing in it, so it will be consistent and predictable, I suppose. Any other questions for staff at this point in time? Councillor Barry?
Excuse me, thank you, Mayor, and through you to Rob, I guess. Last time we had this come up, we had a discussion about arrears and different issues about that, and I'm wondering, just want to follow up on that. I'm wondering if we know or could find out how Norfolk County is in terms of arrears relative to similar municipalities. Like, do we have more people in arrears, fewer people in arrears? Are we about the same? Like, I'd just like to have a better sense of where we are on that for a couple of reasons. One, just to make sure that our policies and things are correct, like relative to other communities and you know, the people that aren't paying or use those as reasons to not pay. But also, you know, just as it becomes politicized, I would like to know, you know, are the 600 accounts in arrears a lot or a little? Is the percentage higher or lower? Is there any way we can find that out, please?
Through the chair, yes. We did try to take a look and pull some values on that from the last discussion 2 weeks ago at CIC. It's a bit challenging, I suppose, to pull that information, just because of the nature of how water and wastewater works. Many municipalities have adopted a tax rolling process for accounts that are in arrears. So in reality, their arrears are much lower as presented on their financial statements, for example, than they would be because of that tax rolling. It's a bit different, I guess what I'm saying, than from property taxes, where property tax accounts are the definitive point, and many municipalities report on where that is at year end. But with water and wastewater, just with how they're collected upon, with the tax rolling process after 60 days or 90 days past due, it's a bit of a challenge, I guess, to get that information. What I can say, though, is we did take a look at what other municipalities do in terms of our overall kind of timeline to tax rolling, and what we've seen is that it's fairly consistent across the board. Some municipalities have adopted other timelines for tax rolling, but I don't think what we're proposing, 60 days, is outside of the norm. In aggregate, annually, we tax roll about 900,000 in water and wastewater arrears, so about 75,000 a month, which I would say as a percentage of arrears, if you look at just that million, it'd be consistent with what we have outstanding for our property taxes, but it's not a direct apples to apples comparison just by the nature of how the aging of the difference in accounts go from period to period.
Okay, no, I understand all that, and I appreciate the update. I just, okay, fair enough. And if it does occur to you or anyone else in finance that there might be a way to see how Norfolk compares in that regard, I would really appreciate that update, because I don't want this to be that, obviously it's not good. I understand it's not good to have any in arrears, but I don't want this to be framed as a particularly bad Norfolk issue if we're consistent with other municipalities, or even worse, if it gets misconstrued, if we're actually doing a little better. So that's all I want to get to. So if there's ever any metrics or it comes across a way to report how we're doing, I'd really appreciate that update. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Huffman?
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Through you, I was just wondering if Mr. Fleming could just recap again on those fees. I know that the paper bills are going to be $2, and if you could just recap on the fees again. I just I didn't quite get the one.
Yeah, yep. Through the mayor, based on table 1, so the information contained in table 1 of the supplemental memo, the 6-day automated reminder was originally estimated at $5. It has been revised down to $4.28. The 30-day reminder notice was originally estimated at $10. It has been a revised estimate of $6.73. The $6.73 revised estimate is also applicable for the 45-day transfer to tax roll warning.
Okay, thank you very much. I was just wondering, Mayor Martin, when it comes time, I'd like to make a motion regarding the fees.
Sure. I don't believe I have. I'll come back to you. Councillor Duthie.
Okay. All right. Thanks.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Through you, can I, Mr. Fleming, thank you for the work that you did on this from the last time we saw it. What goes into the 6-day automated reminder that costs $4.28?
Through the mayor. So we tried to give a flavor of what kind of goes into the calculation for each of the fees. So with the 6-day automated reminder notice, the first thing would be the system that would generate the phone calls. If that's the option we decided to go with, that would be, I think we estimated about $5,000 a year, which was previously noted at the CIC. With any reminder actions or collection actions that we do, there is a process that needs to get done in advance of that. That would be validating the information that gets exported, reviewing the aged accounts to make sure that we send notices or contact the individuals that actually require to be contacted. And then once those go out the door, whether automated or if they're email or by mail, then we also have the associated follow-up that goes with that. So typically with our reminder notice fees, any of the follow-up work, if somebody might call in and say that they've paid, there's the follow-up work and looking at people's accounts and all of the post kind of work that goes into it. For context, in the report itself or the supplemental memo, we had a look at property tax reminder notices. Obviously, the volume is a bit different, but we believe that the work effort would be similar in comparison, just at a much smaller scale, and all the follow-up and balancing, and it's all factored into that cost of $4.28.
Thank you for that. I will confess some of the comments around basically reviewing to make sure we've got it right gives me a tiny bit of concern that we're doing it after the fact. But in your experience, how often is that first reminder all it takes?
That's a great question. So obviously we don't have a great kind of foundation for determining that because this is a new service for us. I would say if we looked at our tax reminder notices as a great example, because they would follow a similar kind of timeline, they are reasonably effective in driving payments. We see that, like I said, we send about 5,500 for property taxes, and that is much of the work that my team does for the following 2 weeks, is follow-up associated with those reminder notices and dealing with the residents' inquiries. And just by virtue of that, we do end up clearing a decent amount of arrears just from the initial notice itself.
So like 50% of them, 25?
I think I would, if I was to look at, so for example, we send reminder notices for taxes in November, and we had about 5,500. We did it again in January, and we had reminder notices of about 3,000. So we cut it in half, roughly, between those two reminder notices.
Any other questions for staff at this point, Councillor Brunton?
Thank you, Mayor Martin. I'm trying to get a handle on something here. You say on a given year, 900,000 is about the value of arrears for water. Am I right on that?
Through the chair, that is the arrear amounts that are transferred to property taxes, 900,000.
Okay, and that's progressive over a 12-month period, I take, to get to that, right? How quick does the 1.25% kick in on a delinquent water bill?
Through the mayor, the interest would be charged on the first day of default, similar to how taxes are operating.
Okay, so does that interest you make at 1.25%, does it get credited back to the rate budget, or does it stay in the I guess the levy budget, if I could use that word? What happens to it?
Yeah, through the mayor, any interest that would be generated from water and wastewater past due amounts would be factored into the rate budget until such time that they're transferred to the property tax levy or the property tax account.
I realize that, but that's what I'm at. Sooner or later, that somebody comes to pay that tax bill, which could include a portion of the water bill, correct?
Through the mayor, that would be correct, yes.
Okay, so does that credit back then to the rate? Like, I guess it's very difficult to keep track of, but does that inch and a quarter, 1.25%, does it all get credited back to the water bill?
Through the mayor, no, it would not. Similar to other items that would get transferred to the tax roll of a property, once it gets transferred, it becomes the responsibility of individuals that are funded by the tax base to collect that outstanding amount. Similar to is now with water and wastewater arrears, once they're added, it's tax collection staff would be responsible for ensuring those amounts are collected. And that's similar for any other item that gets, whether it's accounts receivable or
So
any
it's a
other
bit of
user
a,
fees.
if I can say, it's a bit of a bonus to the taxpayer. Taxpayer, not the ratepayer. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillor Huffman, you want to provide some direction to staff?
Yes, thank you, Mayor Martin. I'm going back to the original intent of bringing this in-house, and it was from the Mayor's Affordability Roundtable. So the consensus was being, how can we make things more affordable for people in Norfolk? So obviously it's been proven to bring it in-house does provide a significant savings. But however, I know I've mentioned this before, it costs a lot of money to not have a lot of money. And I don't want to put more burden on those that are already struggling. So I would like to propose a motion that the first contact made with the ratepayer would be $2 and the next two notices would be $5. That is my motion.
Okay, that's on the floor. Is there a seconder for that?
Okay.
Okay, seeing Councillor Michelle, you seconding. Okay. Debate and discussion on that. Councillor Barry?
Yeah, excuse me. Thanks, Councillor Huffman, for doing that. I was thinking of something similar, but not quite that. I will support this in theory, but if I can make a suggestion, just for maybe a potential change, if everybody likes it, maybe the first one's free, but we jack those second two back up to 10. So the first one is, just a reminder, here's your freebie. Next one is more substantial. That way they don't get hit right away, but they get that friendly free reminder. So anyways, either way, I'll probably support something like this. I just don't know if I will go with these amounts yet.
Okay.
Is that amendment suitable, Councillor Huffman? Or do you want to stick with your direction?
I'm still thinking that 10 is high. That could be, I just think it's high. I want to stick with the 5 for the following two. That's where I'm sticking with that.
Okay.
I feel like I'm on a game show.
We'll stick with your motion.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Councillor Michelli, debate? Then Councillor
Thanks, Madam
Bandridge.
Mayor. I just want to get maybe clarification from the mover. Are we, I see it's on the screen now, okay.
We're sticking with the original motion, no changes.
Okay, so it was $2 and then 5s. Okay, thank you.
Councillor Bandridge, debate, go ahead. You are muted.
I'm so sorry. I have it on my phone here. I can't get it on my laptop, so obviously it is very small. So I'd like clarification that the first is 2 and the next is 5 and 5. Is that what I heard?
That is correct.
Yes.
Okay, I will support that then. Thank you. I would have gone with the first one as a freebie as well, as a reminder, and then I would have gone with the 5 and 5. But this is fine here. 2 is fine.
Councillor Duthie,
Thank you.
debate.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, Councillor Huffman, I appreciate the intent of the motion, and overall, I'm not necessarily overly averse. However, my concern when we discussed it last was that I think we're nickel and diming people, and I think the first contact at 6 days, even if it is $2, is silly. On this topic, I can see that it would be different for property tax, but on water and wastewater, not so much. So I'm not going to support it because I think I'm hearing around the table that there's maybe some inclination for a change on that part.
Councillor Van Passen.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. When I looked at even the memo, supplementary memo, it's called an automated reminder. That's the cost of doing business. To charge $2 for that, it's going to cost more than the $2 to add that to the bill after they charge it. So do you charge them another $2 for adding it to the bill? So I would just completely forget about it. That's a cost of doing business, that first one. That's a gimme. There's no need for it at all. Now the other two, it's a little bit more of a prodding them to pay the bill. But I got to ask staff again, under the current system, if that $10 fee or $5 fee or $750 fee is collected, where does that money end up? Does it end up in the pocket of the rate budget, or does it end up in the pocket of the levy budget?
Through the mayor, so any of the reminder notice fees up until the point of being transferred to taxes would be allocated to the rate budget.
Okay.
So we're going to collect a fee to remind you you're late. That money stays within the pockets of the rate budget, so it's only the users that either get the benefit or pay the bill. So I have no problem reminding them to send us money. I guess I don't have to worry about too many in my ward worrying about that. But and since this motion's on there was a question also last week about the $2 for a paper bill. Can maybe we discuss all of those potential fees at once and then give staff a clear recommendation on how we'd like to see the policy drafted?
So your question is the $2 rate still applicable if it's a paper mail-out bill as opposed to the e-billing?
Yeah, it's I don't know if you call it a penalty for getting the paper bill, because like, already it needs a stamp, that's half of the money right there. But it's more of an incentive to get them on e-billing, is so they don't have to pay that extra fee. So I think that was the logic in the proposed policy, right? So.
Staff, comment?
Through the mayor, if I understand the question correctly, it was that was the intent, to ensure that it's more of an incentive to get onto e-billing than it is a penalty for not being on e-billing. If no one's on e-billing, everyone incurs that cost, and then there's no user fee, right? Because everyone benefits equally. But having the option of having e-billing available is more of having the user fee more targets the cost to those who benefit from having that paper bill, if that's what they choose to have over e-billing.
Councillor Huffman?
Excuse me. Thank you, Mayor Martin. I am more than willing to rescind the $2 for the initial notice. I just thought that wouldn't fly if I put it at zero. I agree with Councillor Van Passen and Councillor Duffy. I don't want to be nickel and diming, and I think there is a cost to doing business. And for being 6 days over to have to pay $2, I see that as a lot. So I would be happy to amend the motion to be the first contact made with the ratepayer be $0, and the next two notices be $5 each. I'm more than happy to amend that.
And before I go to your seconder, Councillor Huffman, one of my suggestions at council and committee was that staff implement that for the first 6 months to get people familiar with the new billing process. Is your amendment that be included as a 6-month like educational or permanently?
No, I was thinking actually earlier today, I was thinking about it being a little bit longer than 6 months. I wanted it to go maybe a year, but I'm open to suggestions. I just want to do the best that we can by the ratepayer and to make this as seamless as possible and as productive as possible. So I'm open to suggestions. 6 months is fine. I was kind of thinking a year, but I'll go 6 months.
Okay, so the intent would be to waive the first bill, any fees associated with that as an educational, launching the new e-billing bi-weekly and so on and so forth. So the first question before I go to the seconder is council in support of that as a 6-month or longer process? Feedback on that from council, please. Councillor Brunton, then Duthie.
Am I missing something here? If it's
Then Van Andrieschie.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. I'm a little confused here. If in 6 months, if it hasn't been paid, will it not end up on the tax bill by then? Am I reading that right or am I wrong?
I don't know how long it takes to move over to the tax bill, but that's not the question. They would then get their second and third bill at the $10 rates. So we would still be billing them, still trying to correct. The question now that we're considering is, should we be offering this $0 charge on the first notification as an educational period for 6 months, 8 months, 1 year, at which point in time that would lapse and there would be a fee associated with it? So 6 months too short?
I understand that, Mayor Martin, but I guess I'm going right back to if people can't afford to pay, eventually it's going to be at 1.25% on the tax bill. It's irrelevant, $2 or $10 or $5.
Yep, if they can't afford to pay, they will receive additional bills, but this motion is still applicable. So I'm going to go to Councillor Duthie, then Van Andrieschie for feedback specifically on the first bill.
Okay, thank you. That was my clarification. So just whether it should be 6 months for the $0 for freebie, the first bill freebie. That's your question?
6 months, 1 year, Councillor Huffman seeking input.
Yeah, my take would be we make it permanent. I think you may get some reoffenders, but I'm not sure I necessarily want to have the marker moved throughout the course.
Okay, but I need feedback on 6 months or a year or null.
Permanent.
Okay, that's not the question. Councillor Van Andrieschie, feedback on 6 months or a year? Because then I'll go and
I would prefer the year because it is an education process. That way everybody's comfortable with it after an entire year rather than 6 months. And yeah, but there'll be more to this than you think. So thank you.
Okay, you're going for 1 year. Councillor Berry, feedback?
Excuse me, I would go with the year also. However, I know you're not asking this, but I want to throw it out, but it should be once. I mean, it shouldn't be that you're in arrears several times over the course of that year and you keep getting that, no, like one time you get it. Or not, but that's my preference.
Okay, understood. So Councillor Huffman, now that you've heard from your colleagues, do you have a preference on what you'd like your motion to be? And then I'll go to Councillor Michelle and see if he agrees with the amendment.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Through you, I would like to stick with a year. And the other numbers are that the first contact made with the ratepayer be 0, and the next 2 notices be $5 each. And the amended part would be that the first bill notification be waived for the first year, and that the next 2 notices be $5 each.
Okay.
I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
And then to Councillor
I'm good.
Berry's point, just for clarity on your motion, if I'm a repeat offender, do I get my first bill waived multiple times or only once in that year process?
I guess I would have to go back to staff because it would depend on how much work that would take and how much tracking. I don't want to, we have to look at, we're trying to save some money here. I don't want to be taking up valuable staff time with that. So I guess we would need some input from staff.
You know what? Our treasurer has her hand up. Perfect timing.
Thank you, and through you, Mayor Martin. Yeah, I appreciate the intent of the motion. I think that tracking that would be very, very challenging and administratively burdensome for us as a staff group.
So a one-time fee is manageable, however, a multiple first fee waiver is not. Or all of the above is not manageable, the $5 2 and 3 times.
Through the mayor, what our treasurer was referring to was if it's a one-time only, that is the administratively burdensome component. If it's a blanket waive for 6 months to a year, that would be easy to accommodate.
Okay, so the motion can stand, just so that we're clear. After it sounds like 1 year, we would go back to a fee system, which can be addressed in a user fee bylaw. And we'll let staff do what is least administratively burdensome, but also waive that fee if this motion passes. So Councillor Michelle, are you in support of the amendment from the mover?
Yes, I am, Madam Mayor.
Okay, Mr. Clerk?
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. I'm not clear on what the 12-month thing is that we're achieving. So are we going to review the late fees at 12 months, or what is the 12-month window?
The 12-month window would be the educational period is over for the community who now had to adjust to e-billing and bi-monthly billing. If they miss a payment on their bill, it is now going to be associated, the first payment they miss will be associated additionally with a fee, and that fee will come to council on the user fee bylaw, where I think there's still a lot of confusion here is that staff aren't able to monitor how many times they've missed the first bill. And so if I'm a ratepayer, I can just continually miss my bill for a year. However, that's a loophole in the system, and that's the motion on the floor. Does that help you?
No, but I'm sure the treasurer can help me.
Go ahead. CAO, then we'll go to...
So just for clarity, so that I've got it straight in my mind, what we're suggesting is that once we move to an in-house billing system, the first year of transition, we will allow the 6-day reminder notice to go out at no charge to the ratepayer who is late on their payment for the first year only, 0 charge. The 30-day reminder and 40-day reminder notices will come with a $5 fee. After the first year, and we finish that 1-year transitionary period, staff will return as part of the annual budget process for user fees and suggest what those fees should be, and that will be subject to council's approval at that appropriate time.
That is correct. However, the loophole for staff, because it is administratively burdensome for them to determine how many times I've been sent the first fee. I might have been sent it once and then paid it and had the fee waived. And then I paid my second bi-monthly bill and I'm on schedule. And then the next bi-monthly bill comes and I didn't pay it. Staff will then need to send me another notice at $0. So there could be multiple $0 fees charged to the same individual over a 12-month period. That is the gray area in this motion that I don't know how staff will deal with that, but.
So unless the treasurer says otherwise, or Rob, I think it's a blanket, regardless of how many times an individual ratepayer might be late in that first 1-year transitionary period, they will always have no fee associated with that first reminder notice. Period, full stop for that first 12-month period.
Correct. That is the way staff don't have the resources to do otherwise. Councillor Van Passen, go ahead.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. Again, I'm trying to understand how this system is going to work. So we're going to switch February 1st of 2027, is that the date? And we're going to mail them, some people a bill that's going to cost $2 extra. Is that what we've decided? And the ones who get electronic don't have to pay that fee. Okay, so then it's due on the 1st of the month or the 15th of the month. You're going to have those options. And if you're 6 days late, it's going to send you an automated notice to remind you that you're late, and we're not going to charge anything for that period all the time. That's just the cost of doing business. That's what it is. When 30 days comes up, then we're going to send you a letter or an email that says, by the way, you're 30 days late, and that's going to cost $5 to send that letter. But for the first year, part of the wording of that letter is, we're waiving the $5 fee you should be charged. We just tell them that you should be charged $5, and what, we're waiving that for the first year?
Nope, the $5 fees are still applicable for the next two motions, correct, Councillor Huffman? Correct.
No.
So no, the $5 fee on 30 days and 45
Okay.
days,
They're
payment is required.
But at 60 days, it flips and it gets added to the tax bill.
Confirmation, yes, from the treasurer,
Okay.
yep.
And that costs you $50. That's the standard fee to already existing of adding things to your tax bill, and we are not discussing that. That's staying here. So the only motion is whether we charge, staff had proposed $10, and the motion on the floor is $5 for the 30-day and the 45-day fee, or letter reminder fee. Correct?
You're mostly correct.
Mostly.
Councillor Duthie?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. So, sorry, for clarification then, I think I'm asking staff, and I apologize, we're maybe not at that stage, but presumably then if the fee was $5 and $5 or $10 and $10, by the time we add it to the tax roll, there's a $50 fee, so potentially it's 60 or 70. Is that right?
Through the mayor, if it remains in arrears, yes, the total fees would be the 5 plus 5 plus 50, so $60.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to call the question here. Everybody's chimed in on some debate. My 2 cents, I'm not going to support this for many reasons. First, hearing that staff can't possibly manage the administrative burden of determining how many times an individual has been late. That is a loophole in the system. Secondly, we put the rate budget up 10% this year, which was over $200 per household. And we have the most amount of our accumulated debt is associated with the rate budget. So in the short term, this is Norfolk County's biggest hurdle, and now we're having a discussion about subsidizing one of our biggest hurdles. Secondly, everyone else who pays on time is now subsidizing those who don't until it trickles over to the property tax levy, which then is our second largest hurdle. So administratively, it creates a loophole for folks to not pay and pass that burden on to other ratepayers, and this is Norfolk County single-handedly biggest problem rate, water, wastewater, and the debt associated with it. So I will not be supporting the motion. I'm going to call the question. Mr. Clerk, are we voting on the amendment if both the mover and seconder have approved it, or are we voting on them?
Through you, Mayor Martin, we don't have an amendment. You kind of drafted a resolution as you went along. So.
Perfect, excellent. So everyone understands what the motion is. All in favor? And opposed? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, the motion's defeated. Thank you, 4, 5. We do have staff recommendation in front of us, which is to receive the policy and the program update as information, that we include the attachment 1 to be approved. That is the reduced fees that staff put together. Instead of $5, it's $4.28. And so on and so forth. That would become effective February 1st, 2027, and further that policy FS 49 be rescinded effective January 31st, 2027. Ms. Van Dyke?
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Through you to council, thank you for allowing me to speak. I just would like to offer a point of clarification. If council chooses to approve the policy as it is written and as has been presented to council, council is not approving any fees. The wording in the policy is that fees are set as per the user fee bylaw. So council could, and it would be staff's request and recommendation, that council approve the policy to allow staff to move forward with the next phase of the planning and the implementation of the project to bring the water and wastewater billing in-house. The supplementary information memo that Mr. Fleming provided with the cost recovery rates for fees would be the potential fees that would come back as part of the user fee bylaw for 2027 that would still be subject to council debate and approval or not at that time. So the wording in the policy around fees is specifically that fees are per the user fee bylaw. If it is council's future decision, for example, not to charge any user fees, there would be no user fees in the bylaw for staff to charge. So we appreciate the debate that has gone on. We appreciate council's views on the matters of the fees. Those are certainly very important. We would respectfully suggest and recommend that council could pass the policy without knowing what the fees would be, if any, just yet, because those will come back.
Or additionally, to make council feel better, which I think is the crux of the debate, you can set it at the cost recovery rate so that you know it's not going to be higher until the next term of council comes in and makes an adjustment at the user fee budget. I think we're not debating about the policy here, we're debating about the cost to the end user. So if it makes you feel better, select the lower fee that staff have put forward as the cost recovery bare minimum, and then you know until the next term of council sets the user fees that you've selected the lowest possible rate for the ratepayers of Norfolk County. So if that's the case, I would look for a mover and a seconder for the recommendation on the screen and would encourage you to insert the applicable fees for the year of 2027 as noted in table 2. Is that the table? Rob, go ahead, and then I'll go to Councillor Duthie.
It's just for clarification, Madam Mayor, it's table 1 that outlines the fees.
Okay. Councillor Duthie, go ahead.
Thanks, Madam Mayor, and I appreciate the insight that you shared as well. I certainly take that under advisement, but I would put forward the motion as recommended by staff. However, I would establish the user fees for consideration in the user fee bylaw to be $0 for the 6-day automated telephone reminder and $7.50 for each of the supplementary reminders.
I would just go to the clerk because I think that that still creates that administrative loophole that we've just maybe debated.
Through you, Mayor Martin, it doesn't remedy that, but it's a valid motion to be
Okay.
put on the floor if there's a seconder.
Okay, so just for clarity then, Councillor Duthie, you would move the recommendation and you would suggest the first late fee notification is the mail out at $2, okay? And the e-billing is 0 for the first? Or do you want 0 for both?
Sorry, the mail, no, if you're receiving a paper bill, the $2 fee I have no problem with.
Okay.
Yeah.
So first bill, e-billing would be $0 on your late. And then what's the supplemental, what's the follow-up fee afterwards?
$7.50.
And then $7.50 and $7.50?
Correct.
Okay, understood. Is there a seconder for that motion? Councillor Columbus, and discussion and debate. Councillor Van Passen.
Yes, thanks, Madam Mayor. I think we're also forgetting that on the first day that it's overdue, they charge 1.25% interest on that as well. So there's going to be paperwork sent out, so I can support this concept here. The first one is a reminder. That's your freebie. After that, we charge you money. Staff calculated that at close to the $7.50. Sounds like a better number. But again, I think that's just a recommendation. Council of the day in 2027 will approve the official fee schedule. Is that correct? Yeah. So this is our recommendation to a future council to decide. Right?
Confirming that with Treasury, or are you going to produce a user fee bylaw with the direction received today?
Through you, Madam Mayor, the fees that were directed by council today would be included in the user fee bylaw.
So it's not just a suggestion of the council of the day, it is setting the fee. Doesn't kick in until 2027, staff are saying, so, okay. And then Councillor Duthie, for my confirmation as well, that is that first fee is an indefinite $0. That's not after a year or whatever it stops, it is $0 on the first, okay. Everyone understand the motion before you? We would be receiving the report, including the additional amendments. We would be rescinding our prior policy, so staff would be able to continue on with the process. And that includes $0 on the first late fee indefinitely, followed by $7.50 on the next two. Staff also, I hope you have direction that if there's a mail out that's going out, as per Councillor Van Andriesch's comments last time around, that is a $2 fee. Okay. Can we get a division of the question just on the costs, please, and vote on the first part, which is receiving the report?
So, Mayor Martin, so I think the second part on the fees, and I'll look to Treasury to correct me, it would be direction to staff to prepare those numbers for the fee bylaw amendment. Is that correct?
Through the mayor, yes, that's correct. We'd take that direction to bring back the 2027 user fee bylaw, including the fees as directed today.
Yeah, understood. Thank
Okay.
you.
So that's how it would be presented in the user fees, but that's fine. Okay, so with the division of the question, the first three items are before us. Councillor Duthie moved, I believe Councillor Columbus seconded? Yep, okay. Is there any further comment or debate on that? Seeing none, I'll call the question. All in favor? That's carried, thank you. And then now we are moving and seconding by Duthie and Columbus. The fees, the paper bill, $0 on the first late fee indefinitely, $7.50 for the next two. Is there any debate on that? Councillor Van Andriesch, floor is yours.
Thank you, Madam Chair. That is precisely what I mentioned last time. Those people that don't have a computer, don't have access to all that, are the ones burdening the extra cost. And I don't think that's fair. I think it should be zero across the board rather than just to those who are getting an internet form that's telling them that they are a late fee. a late notice. So I'm not going to support this in the way it is. I would like to see that it's at least fair and equitable across the board, because like I say, if you can't afford a computer, you're probably hard stressed to also pay a water bill.
Okay, thanks for your comments. Any other debate? My 2 cents, I will not be supporting this section of the motion. I just don't agree with the $0. I am okay with $0 as an educational trial period, but knowing and hearing from staff that there's no way to monitor how many times an individual will get that first bill paid, essentially they can create a system where they're paying a monthly bill and having no charge for the work that staff has to do to remind them that they are in arrears on that bill. So that seems messy and unfair to me. Again, $14.83 a month. The rate bill went up 10% overall, and 83.7 million in debt associated with the rate on our last budget. So I will not be supporting the subsidization of those who pay the fee late, especially when equal billing is a large part of this new system. I will call the question. All in favor? And opposed? The motion's defeated. So we have passed, as Ms. Van Dyke suggested, the ability to receive the report as information, to rescind the old policy, and to give staff the direction to continue on the next steps. There's no consensus on the fee, so is it okay to leave this for the user fee bylaw come budget next year? Staff are nodding their head and the debate can continue. Okay, thanks very much, Council. And to the clerk, in my notes here, I have Councillor Huffman. Sorry, go ahead.
Thank you, Mayor Martin. Through you, I just want to make sure what's not lost in translation is that we do a heavy communications on the importance of the monthly e-billing. I can't even think it. What is it? I can't think of the. Thank you. The equal billing, and just to make users aware that they still have the opportunity to do the monthly billing to keep on top of their expenses. So I'd really like to see that not lost in translation. Thank you.
Ms. Van Dyke, looking at you, she's nodding her head, so I think that's more than reasonable. Okay, thank you. We have the information memo. Sorry, this is my question to you, Mr. Clerk.
Yeah, we don't deal with that. We just defer it to fees.
Great, deferred to fee budget. So next we're on 12.2.2 on your agenda, which is staff report CS 26009. This is Haldeman Norfolk Housing Corp. Affordable Housing Development, Gibraltar Street in Delhi. Ms. Van Dyke.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you to Council. This report is here today to get Council approval as shareholder of the Haldeman Norfolk Housing Corporation for the financing for the development located at 686 Gibraltar Street in Delhi. This is going to be a 25-unit, 3-story mixed income affordable housing development comprising a mix of 15 affordable and 10 rent geared to income units. This is a very exciting development and with planning well underway. As per the shareholder agreement for the Housing Corporation, any time the Housing Corporation needs to acquire debt or any time that there needs to be a lien registered on the property, it requires unanimous approval of the shareholders, unanimous meaning both counties. A similar report went to Haldeman Council last week, and so is here for Norfolk approval today. So as the resolutions state, we need council approval for the Housing Corporation to enter into a financing agreement with Canada Mortgage and Housing Corporation for federal funding. We need approval for any liens for the provincial and federal funding to be registered on the title of the property. And we also need authorization for the mayor and clerk to sign and execute a municipal contribution agreement for the county's financial contributions. So by way of previous report, council had approved up to $1 million of a contribution. As a result of the way that the project has unfolded, efficiencies in the project, as well as the way the funding has unfolded, that actual municipal contribution is going to be $203,235, so significantly less than the maximum that council had approved, which is great news. Part of executing the municipal contribution agreement will also be the registration of that agreement on the title of the property. So with that, Madam Mayor, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you very much. Questions from council? Not seeing any. So the staff recommendation is before you on the screen, and I won't read it to you because it's quite lengthy, but good news on the reduction in the municipal contribution. Is there a mover and a seconder for that? Councillor Columbus moves, seconded by Councillor Brunton. Councillor Columbus.
Yeah, this is great news for a great project for the community of Delhi. And I can say that a lot of people are looking forward to this. It kind of revitalizes the Gibraltar Street area. And look forward to having a shovel in the ground come spring.
Excellent. I will call the question. All in favor? Carried unanimously. Wonderful. Thanks, Ms. Van Dyke. Emergency Services, Public Works, and Office of the CAO, we have no reports, so we'll move along to our bylaws. Does any member of council wish to speak to any of the bylaws before us, with the exception of the very last bylaw, which is 1310, bylaw 2026-07, being a bylaw to appoint municipal law enforcement officers? That has been pulled and will be revisited in February. So all the other bylaws are up for discussion. Councillor Vanadrishi.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I have my concerns on the bylaw 2024-91, which appears to be the first bylaw. I have a couple of questions. This drain that has come up and has passed through 2 sittings already, the actual proponent has questions about it again, and is still working, has some dispute over it, and has some concerns. If this bylaw passes through today, and since they're, like I say, kind of disputing it or have concerns with it, will it have an effect if there were changes to it? Can we go back and the bylaw is revisited or changed, or should it not be passed, the bylaw, if there are still concerns with this particular drain? I think that question to staff.
Through the chair, sorry, I'm just reading it very quickly. So yes, yeah. That file is, I'll say, up for debate, although it has been turned down on 3 occasions by the Drainage Tribunal. So I don't think there's going to be any further discussions on the file. But in looking at it quickly, I would say that if by adopting this bylaw, then that would be the end of the discussion, and all assessments would be issued.
A further question to that is, we're looking at it in the sense he's the only individual that is deemed to be that it is for his benefit or their benefit, that particular property, when yet there are properties around it. I myself don't agree with the way it was found by the engineer. So what if in the future there was one of these massive rain whatevers, and it comes to find out that this drain, if they were to hook on, if other people were to hook on, was benefit to them as well? Does it go back, because it's costing this individual $44,000, I take it here, to do the engineering and the work? Is there something that goes back where he could be reimbursed by others if that were the case?
So through the chair, I mean, following the proper municipal drainage process, if others were to connect to the system and would be benefit, they would be assessed accordingly. However, I don't think there's any urgency for us to finalize this bylaw today. So, and we do not have drainage staff on the line following along. So we can certainly defer this to the following meeting if that is council's desire, and I can have the appropriate staff here to respond to it.
I would appreciate that. Therefore, Madam Chair, I'd like to make the motion to defer this particular bylaw.
Okay, understood. Or would you give me the grace of passing the other bylaws so I can find out, I guess it's not inappropriate to say the name of the individual, is it? Who's assessed?
That's right. Well, it's under the name of the McCool petition drain.
That's the last name of the individual being assessed?
That's right.
Okay, understood. Sorry, I was thinking it would be a different drain then. So, yep, that's fine. There's a motion on the floor to defer this to the next council meeting. Is there a seconder for that? Councillor Brunton, and I will call the question. All in favor? That's carried. Does anyone else wish to speak to any bylaws? Okay, we're going to skip that one. Moving on then, I'm looking for a mover and a seconder. I suppose I have to do these separately. So mover and seconder that bylaw 2025-75 being a bylaw to provide for variation in assessment of the drainage works, the Corporation of Norfolk County for the McCall Municipal Drain be read a third and final time. Moved by Councillor Duthie, seconded by Councillor Michelli. All in favor? Carried. Mover and a seconder, please, that the bylaw 2025-76 being a bylaw to provide drainage works in the Corporation of Norfolk County for the Mills South Norwich Municipal Drain be read a third and final time. Moved by Councillor Columbus, seconded by Councillor Van Passen. All in favor? Carried. Mover and a seconder, please. Bylaw 2025-77 being a bylaw to provide for partial abandonment and variation in assessment of drainage works in the Corporation of Norfolk County for the McCoy Municipal Drain 2024 be read a third and final time. Councillor Duthie, Councillor Berry, all in favor? Carried. Wonderful. And then a mover and a seconder, please, to approve the following bylaws. 2601 to 2026-03 consecutively, and 2026-05 and 2026-06 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed in open council. Moved by Councillor Michelli, seconded by Councillor Van Andrieschie. All in favor? Carried. So we have pulled two of those bylaws for February discussion. Motions, 14.1 on the agenda, we're revisiting the alternative for Grand Erie Public Health. Councillor Michelli.
Yes, Madam Mayor, I believe you mean to say alternate, not alternative?
Sure.
Okay. Yes, I just want to get that clear.
If you turn your microphone off right now and that's your only suggestion, you're in trouble.
And also, Madam Mayor, I should follow up. If council is willing, I would volunteer to become that alternate for that temporary period.
I believe Councillor Van Passen has a motion.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would move a motion that Councillor Michelli be appointed as the alternate member for the Grand Erie Public Health.
Councillor Huffman seconding. The only thing, additional information I would add to that for council's consideration before I check and see if there's any other additional nominations. Councillor Huffman had mentioned the conflict with Police Service Board, which does happen. However, it's you are still able to tune in virtually and participate in some of the meetings, so it's not a complete write-off if that interests any of the Police Service Board or OPP board members. Are there any other nominations to put forward on this? Okay, I'll call the question. Moved by Councillor Van Passen, seconded by Councillor Huffman. The council appoints Councillor Michelli to act as the alternate member of council on the Grand Erie Public Board of Health. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion's carried. Thank you very much, Councillor Michelli, for stepping up and adding to your committee work. Any notice of motions? I have none. Other business? Councillor Columbus.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to make a statement with respect to the power outages in the Delhi area. So I'll read the statement that I prepared. In recent months, residents of the Delhi community have experienced a significant increase in electrical power outages. Some report loss of freezer food and being without heat for more than a whole day. Some I even heard as much as 2 days. A number of individuals have taken to social media, specifically Talk Delhi, indicating that the Ward 3 councillor in Norfolk County should be taking the power outage issue more seriously. I have come to learn that hydro generation and distribution, including reliability of service, is a provincial issue and not a local Norfolk issue. Hydro One is affiliated with Ontario as the province remains its largest shareholder, granting it influence while Hydro One operates as a public traded company with a mandate to maintain critical electricity transmission, distribution, infrastructure in Ontario, subject to provincial oversight and regulatory control by the Ontario Energy Board. Although the power outage issue is an Ontario government responsibility, I did reach out to Hydro One officials regarding residents' outage concerns. Hydro One is well aware of the outage concerns and held a team meeting to discuss frequency of outages and indicated they would explore the matter further. A municipal relations department official has indicated that Hydro One will be completing a patrol of the power lines to identify areas that may require maintenance or repair. This includes inspecting equipment and any forestry maintenance that may need to be completed. In addition, they are taking further steps to strengthen the system reliability by reviewing infrastructure plans in the area to better support long-term reliability. I do not subscribe to social media. However, with respect to the power outage issue, I have been subjected to a number of derogatory remarks by a certain individual who has made several false statements, accusations regarding my integrity representing Ward 3. And on February 10th, this individual will be coming to council and committee to make a deputation. I don't know what it's going to be about, but anyway, we'll see, looking forward. This individual never did ever contact me through email or by phone, and here we are. To share a few comments on the post, he indicated, when the doctors vacated Delhi, he waved and smiled. You probably all remember the time I made a statement here at council. It was April 24th, 2023. Front page headlines, Simcoe Reformer, Family Health Team moved from Delhi, worries community members, Columbus. So there it is, a false statement again. He voted himself a raise and waves and smiles. Well, you all know how I voted. It was a recorded vote. I voted against that. He voted, or he doesn't show up for anything anymore yet, is always there for the free meals. How do you like that? And now they think I control the switch to power for going to Delhi. Freedom of speech is everybody's right. However, linguistically assaulting a member of Norfolk Council is out of order. What recourse does an elected member of council have when it comes to social media?
All right. Is that a rhetorical question, or are you hoping for some discussion on social media from council?
I missed that, sorry, Madam Mayor.
Are you hoping for council to have discussion on social media? Is that?
Yes, I don't know, maybe the CEO would like to make a comment on that. I had mentioned to him earlier what I was going to do, so.
Do you wish to make a comment?
Through Madam Mayor, the only comment I will make is social media is certainly growing in influence, and there are a lot of comments being made on social media, not necessarily the best vehicle to confirm that the information being shared on social media is factually correct, but it is something that at the municipal level, every organization is working on options and strategies to deal with social media going forward.
I have Councillor Brunton, then Van Passen. Councillor Van Passen on this topic? Go ahead.
Well, I'm not sure if it's on this talk. I want to talk about power outages, but, which I think where we started, and would actually ask that staff do contact Hydro One. We get to brag a lot that Norfolk County is such a great place because we got 28% forest cover, and we forget sometimes that those forests also cover the hydro lines, because I have had a lot of complaints as well, especially along the lake shore, places like Normandale, Fisher's Glen. The wind blows, trees fall down, takes down the hydro lines. They've got power outages too, and it's still Norfolk County's fault, even though we got nothing to do with it. But I wonder if that might be possible, that staff talk to, the powers that be. We have our crews that are out up and down the roads. Maybe they can work with Hydro One when they see a tree that's hanging over the line or something, and maybe we can work out something to the benefit of all the residents of Norfolk County. So,
Councillor Duthie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I would just sort of, in response to Councillor Columbus, I would say, social media is a dreadful animal often, and people take things they hear on there as gospel and then spout it as if they're preaching, which is typically incorrect. But what I would say is I have welcomed the conversations that I've been able to have with individuals and residents that have read things on social media and then reached out to confirm. Because when you have the ability to have a discussion that is actually rooted in fact, you can make further strides with that individual. So my encouragement really would be to the residents that are reading these things on social and assuming that they're gospel. Don't believe everything that you read, and in fact, reach out to your representative, be it at this level or at other levels, and to seek clarification, and then make your determination from there.
All right, thanks for those comments, much appreciated. Anyone else Councillor Breton, other business?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor Martin. I just want to take a minute to congratulate Andrew and his staff for all the hard work they're doing out there with the snow plowing and the cold weather. I can appreciate some of the issues you're probably dealing with, but I would tell you that I have had some very interesting comments from people. A few not so favorable, but the majority are very much appreciate the work you are doing, and I hope you pass that on to your staff. Thank you.
Councillor Duthie.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, if I could maybe just get some, sort of pose a question of staff, and I think I know the answer, but the status of the pool as of today.
Through the mayor, work is moving along. We thought, obviously, we're going to be open sooner, but the water chemistry was the issue. So I don't have an exact date on opening, but I assume from the talks I had with staff earlier this week that the pool will be up and running this week. And I apologize, I don't have an exact time, but I will get that and email councilors with the exact date.
Sorry, thank you for that. This has just triggered a question for me, though, that I may pose to Ms. Van Dyke. My apologies, Madam Mayor. I beg your indulgence. I could swear on social media today, as much as we were just talking about that, I saw a post from Norfolk County that said the Annalise Carr Aquatic Center was open today.
And that could very well be. As I said, I haven't talked to staff this week about it. It was earlier this week.
So, Madam Mayor, through you to council, I am aware that communication staff have been in regular contact with recreation staff and providing updates, but I will confirm with them right now whether they're referencing the building being open or the pool or both.
Anyone else for other business? Great. General announcements. Staff? All righty, we're cruising along. With that, we have 4 late closed session items today. Mover and a seconder, please, to move into closed session for several reasons here. Councillor Barry and Huffman move. Pursuant to Section 239(2) of the Municipal Act 2001 as amended, as the subject matter pertains to B, personal matters about an identifiable individual, including municipal or local board employees, and E, litigation or potential litigation, including matters before administrative tribunals affecting the municipality or local board, and H, information explicitly supplied in confidence to the municipality or local board by Canada, a province, a territory, or crown agency of any of them. Items 18.1 through to 18.4 are on the agenda. And for those virtually, let's just take a 5-minute break and jump into closed session at 3:01. Thanks.
Okay.
Sorry. That's carried.
Life depends on. To restore this pond, we're removing the excess sediment and transporting it to a licensed site. We're also clearing invasive plants, reshaping the pond's banks, and upgrading the outlet that controls the flow of water. This work will improve water quality, allow the pond to hold more water, reduce flooding risks, and provide a healthier habitat for plants and wildlife. Stormwater management isn't just about what you see on the surface. It's also about the infrastructure underground. We use special tools to locate, map, and inspect the pipes and infrastructure that connect the ponds to the wider stormwater system. This helps us to understand how water moves through our communities and identify issues that need our attention. It's likely that you or someone that you know has been impacted by flooding, erosion, or drainage issues. All of that connects back to stormwater. Stormwater management isn't just about pipes and ponds. It's about protecting the communities and the nature that surrounds us. As Norfolk County grows, so does our responsibility to manage stormwater, and that's our job. With smart planning, hard work, and community support, we're building a cleaner, safer, and more resilient future together.
Welcome to Norfolk County, where land meets lake and opportunity grows deep and wide. Located on the north shore of Lake Erie, in the heart of southwestern Ontario, Norfolk spans 1,600 square kilometers, making us one of Ontario's largest single-tier municipalities. Our roots run deep in agriculture, food production, and advanced manufacturing, industries that shaped our past and are powering Ontario's future economy. Home to over 70,000, we are bold, diverse, and fiercely local. From Port Dover to Long Point, our folks are putting down roots, sometimes in sand, sometimes in soil, but always in a place they're proud to call home. Big land, big vision, unmatched potential. That's Norfolk.
Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County. Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County. Hey, Norfolk County.
My name is Bowden Winicki.
My name is Lindsay Kalyakoski.
My name is Alex Ryan. I work as a park student.
I work as an economic development coordinator.
I work on the roads department in Delhi.
I work as a supervisor for waste management.
I work as a committee coordinator in the clerk's department.
Okay, what's the first question? What I love about my job is the people.
All right, what do I love about my job?
It's really the community. No day is the same.
It is because I get to work with a bunch of great guys.
It directly impacts really positively the residents of Norfolk County.
I love the people that I get a chance to work with.
Every day is different. The mix of things is what makes me happy and keeps me going.
First and foremost, the community. The people of this community are so welcoming.
Is the amazing team I get to work with every day here at Norfolk County.
Opportunity to help people, to help my community.
One of the things I love the most about my job is my team. I love who I work with and what I do while I'm here.
I get to work on projects and in programs that support our community, that help make lives better for the people who live here, who work here, and who come here to visit.
Every day you feel like you've accomplished something on the way home, and you're working with a bunch of great people who are equally as committed to the community and serving our communities.
The pace here is very good and great work-life balance. They put wellness on the forefront, so I'm part of the Apple Committee, and there's lots of opportunity at Norfolk County.
Flexible work hours, great work-life balance, great staff, great friends, and of course, what's not to love about Norfolk County? We're Ontario's garden.
I love helping people, I love helping residents, and that's what makes Norfolk County a great place to come to work.
I chose to work for Norfolk County because I grew up in Delhi, so it's close to home, and I've enjoyed working for my community and my friends and family.
Definitely 100% the people. There are lots of community champions and everyone's been so kind. and welcoming.
Because I was born and raised here and I wanted to help give back to my community.
I love giving back to a community that I grew up in. I love my team, and I love that I can leave a legacy here in the community.
When I had the opportunity to come home and serve the public, I jumped at that opportunity.
I started my career as an area planner for this place. It's interesting that at the end of my career, this opportunity came up to come back and make Norfolk a better place.
Is being able to live and work in the community that we're a part of.
I did choose to work for Norfolk because I'm an engineer by trade and I like to solve problems.
And realized how rewarding it was to be able to contribute to initiatives within the area that I've always called home. I love it here. You should consider joining the public sector, joining the municipality, because it's so diverse. There's something for everyone. Local government is the closest to the people. We get to work with our residents day in and day out, and there is something for you in every department for Norfolk.
Hey, Norfolk County. Do you know how your property taxes are spent? Let's take a look together. First, we need to start with Norfolk County's budget. Every year, staff and council confirm the funds required to be collected from the property taxes paid by you and 35,000 other Norfolk County taxpayers. These funds contribute to Norfolk County's levy and capital budgets, which lay out how your tax dollars are used. The capital budget is also funded by the rate budget, the funds paid by residents known as ratepayers for water and wastewater services through their monthly water bill. The levy budget is used to deliver programs and services for residents ranging from emergency services like fire and EMS, waste services like garbage collection, recreation services like arenas, trails, and parks, maintenance services like snow removal and road repair, and human services like homelessness prevention and health education programs. Our levy budget also supports our libraries and museums, administrative services for council, and the many staff who keep Norfolk County operating. Services like recreation programs for children, adults, and seniors, and our Ride Norfolk Transit program are also paid for with property taxes and supplemented by user fees. And across Ontario, a portion of each resident's property tax bill goes to our local school boards. About a third of the property taxes collected are allocated to the capital budget or reserves for future capital spending, which includes other funding sources like the federal and provincial government, reserve funds, grants, debt, and development charges, as well as funds from the rate budget. Together, the capital budget goes toward longer-term projects, such as our investments in water and wastewater facilities, as well as building and renewing our parks, roadways, pools, arenas, and other things we use every day. So the next time you hear someone ask, "Where are my property taxes going?" you can tell them to look down, look up, and look forward. Your tax dollars are at work all around you every day. When you visit your local park with your family, drive to work on cleared roads, register for swimming lessons, get rid of that old couch you've outgrown, or contact Service Norfolk about that pothole on your street that needs to be fixed. Your tax dollars are also being invested in initiatives to improve the lives of Norfolk County residents in the years to come to make Norfolk County a better place for future generations. While Norfolk County's budget is prepared once a year, your feedback helps us make decisions and plan for the future. We are committed to listening to you so that our budget reflects what is important to our community. Learn more about Norfolk County's budget at norfolkcounty.ca/budget.
Today we're announcing an exciting partnership with Scotland and Norfolk County Economic Development, and we're transforming transport trailers into mobile ambassadors. We're showcasing Norfolk's story of opportunity, excellence, and quality of life across all of North America, and Scotland is the ideal partner with an amazing logistics network and will help us share our story all across North America.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes on a capital project in Norfolk County. We begin planning capital projects by analyzing our infrastructure needs related to roads, water mains, storm and sanitary sewers, as well as bridges. We assess their overall condition, age, and servicing requirements. This provides a solid foundation to ensure Norfolk has the hard infrastructure for current and future needs. Once a project is determined and approved by Council, we retain an engineer to complete the design. During this stage, we engage the public through public information centers or postings on the county website to inform them of the upcoming project and provide an opportunity to share feedback. After the design is completed and all approvals are in place, we hire a contractor through a public bidding process. During the construction phase, we track progress, budget, and continue to engage with the public. We also work with other departments to ensure the overall success of the project. Once complete, we report and track any warranty issues for 2 years. We measure a project's success by its ability to enhance infrastructure and positively impact residents. As a Norfolk County employee, I enjoy building the community that has given me so much. Thank you for taking the time to join me on this behind-the-scenes tour.
Deputations are a way for you and all residents of Norfolk County to speak before Council about relevant matters in our community. To begin, search www.norfolkcounty.ca. Then select the Government tab. Under the Government tab, select Provide Deputation/Speak at a Council or Committee Meeting. This page provides general information regarding deputations. Under the subheading Register to Speak, click the Public Hearing/Deputation Form link to pre-register your deputation. Notice of Collection. By checking the Notice of Collection box, you are agreeing to the above statement. Selecting the type of meeting you want. There are several types of meetings that allow deputations. Please listen closely as we explain each option. Council meeting. Council deputations must pertain to a matter listed on the upcoming meeting agenda. For the remaining meeting choices, you may present a deputation if the topic pertains to the committee you are presenting to. Once you select the type of meeting you want to deliver your deputation, you can complete the rest of the document. Now choose whether you will attend the meeting in person or virtually. Finally, select if you will be providing materials during your deputation. If you have materials for distribution during the council meeting, please bring 15 hard copies for council and staff. Now click Next to move to Step 2. In Step 2, please fill out your personal information. Once your personal information is completed, click Next. Lastly, review your information and select Next to submit your form. You have now completed the deputation request form. You will receive a confirmation email from the Clerk's Department that they've received your request. Next, we will talk about what to do on the day of your deputation.
So, you've received your approval and the day of your deputation is upon you. For starters, Council is located here, at 50 Colburn Street. Now there's 2 entrances you can use when you arrive. One is here, located off Colburn, and one located off Talbot Street. When you arrive, you'll have 3 main options to park. The first is to park at the Simcoe Town Center Mall, which is where Food Basics is located. Your second option is 2-hour street parking on Court Street. And your third option is 2-hour street parking on Lott Street. If you can't find any parking in any of those 3 options, don't worry. Downtown Simcoe has plenty of street parking in all of the surrounding areas. If you enter through the Colburn Street doors, you'll have to make your way through the building to get to Council Chambers. But don't worry, if you require any assistance, you can feel free to ask Service Norfolk at the front desk. Make your way along this path and you'll end up in the main lobby. To your left, there'll be an elevator. You can either ring the bell or go ask the people at the front desk for assistance. If you don't need to use the elevator, you can head on up the green staircase and go up to Council Chambers. If you enter through the Talbot Street doors, the elevator will be immediately in front of you, or the green staircase will be ready for you to go up and deliver your presentation. Once you reach the top of the stairs, you'll have made it to Council Chambers. Feel free to take a seat here or here and wait for Council to call your name when it's time to present. When Council calls your name, make your way to the podium and ensure that you don't walk between the railing and the chairs on your way there. When you arrive at the podium, adjust it to your desired height using the arrow buttons, and turn the microphone on using the button on the right. If you're giving your deputation in front of council, begin by saying, "Through the mayor." If you're giving it in front of a committee, begin by saying, "Through the chair." Then, clearly state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes to give your presentation. Upon having 1 minute remaining, the chair will give you notice. When you're finished your presentation, council may have questions for you. Ensure that you always begin your answer by saying, "Through the mayor," or "Through the chair" to councillor and their last name. If you can't answer the question, that's okay. Inform council that you'll gather more information and get back to them. After that, council will have heard out what you've had to say, and they'll take appropriate action as they deem necessary. And now, you've finished your deputation. You can either have a seat and watch the rest of the meeting, or you can leave through the door that you came in and ensure that you leave as quietly as possible.
Hey Norfolk County, my name is Anna and I'm here to share some water safety tips to keep you and your family safe around the water. Knowing how to swim is a life skill and an essential part of staying safe and having fun. Swimming lessons are the best way to learn essential swim survival skills to recover from a fall into deep water. Think you're too old for lessons? There are programs designed for teens and adults as well. With so many lakes and rivers, Canadians of all ages are avid boaters. Always wear a life jacket, it could save your life. Never swim alone, regardless of age and skill level. Always swim with a buddy. A buddy can throw you a buoyant aid if you get into trouble. When possible, wade into unknown waters to prevent injury. Backyard pools are a great place to make family memories. But remember, if you are not within arm's reach of your child in and around the water, then you've gone too far. Drowning can occur in as little as 10 seconds and it is silent. Every drowning death is preventable. Take time to educate yourself and those around you to ensure you're staying safe and having fun around the water. For more information, visit norfolkcounty.ca/watersafety.
We all have the right to feel safe at work, when spending time with friends and family, when participating in activities or attending a public meeting or event. Norfolk County is committed to ensuring our spaces and workplaces are safe. Our Respect and Responsibility policy outlines the code of conduct for employees, patrons, contractors, volunteers, coaches, and spectators. This code of conduct also applies to phone calls, emails, and virtual and social media platforms. We all play a part in fostering a respectful and safe environment. Inappropriate behaviors such as swearing, name-calling, verbal and physical threats, physical violence, harassment, and vandalism will not be tolerated. Staff have the right to take action when incidents occur. This may include denying service, asking individuals to leave, contacting the police, or, if necessary, suspending them from county programs and facilities. Those responsible for damaging county property will be required to cover the cost of repairs, fees, and lost revenues. We are committed to providing high-quality customer service and a safe and respectful environment for all. For more information about our Respect and Responsibility policy, visit norfolkcounty.ca/R&R.
Hi, I'm Lisa, and I'm excited to take you behind the scenes to meet Norfolk County's aquatics team in action.
I think the people are what make the job. I think working with the people that I do, we're a great team. We work really well together. That makes a positive work environment. That makes a positive work for the public as well. They see that we work well together, and I think that benefits them as well.
I still love coming here every day. It's an exciting job. It's always different. You're always doing new things.
Being part of our team offers staff the opportunity to develop essential skills in lifeguarding, teaching swimming lessons, customer service, first aid, and of course, teamwork.
I think swimming in general is a really great skill to have from a very young age, so being a part of children learning how to swim is super important to me.
It's a really rewarding process to see them go from not the greatest swimmer to a better or great swimmer. It's a really good stepping stone to what I want to do in the future.
It's just a nice variety and everybody brings something different and special to the team.
Our aquatics team is dedicated to educating the community on water safety and drowning prevention.
You might be a quiet student coming in, and this job is really going to push you to find your voice and be like an impactful member of a team.
I love that it's different every day, and you get to meet new people every day and see some of the same faces every day as well. But my job is different every single day. I don't do the same, so it's amazing.
As a proud Norfolk County employee, I'm honored to be part of a team delivering life-saving skills to our community. Thank you for joining me on this behind-the-scenes tour. I hope this video gives you a glimpse of what it's like to be part of our aquatics team. If you're interested in taking advanced leadership courses to become a lifeguard and instructor, visit norfolkcounty.ca.
Hey Norfolk County! Whether you're a longtime resident, new to the area, or simply visiting, do you know about the many services provided by Norfolk County? As a single-tier municipality, we provide services that our community uses every day, including water and fire protection, curbside garbage and recycling, road and sidewalk maintenance, and so much more. We also provide services needed at unique times in life, such as a marriage or business license, or a dog tag for your new companion. And the unique geographic features in Norfolk County, from farmland and forests to lakes and wetlands, means we also provide specialized services ranging from drainage applications to tree inspections. Wondering how to contact Norfolk County? Start with Service Norfolk. Our friendly team of agents is here to help. Reach us by phone at 519-426-5870 or 226-NORFOLK from 8:30 to 4:30 Monday to Friday. Calling about an issue after hours? No problem. We have you covered. Prefer online? Email askus@norfolkcounty.ca anytime, or use our customer service portal at service.norfolkcounty.ca and get a reply right to your email inbox. Want to visit us in person? Come to one of our friendly customer service counters in Simcoe, Monday to Friday, or Delhi, Tuesday to Thursday. Service Norfolk, connecting you to Norfolk County services.
Meet Captain Clean, the toilet paper superhero, here to protect Norfolk County's pipes and keep everything flowing smoothly. Remember, only flush the 3 Ps: pee, poop, and toilet paper. Flushing anything else can cause big trouble. Things like wipes, hair, or grease can create sewer blockages. These blockages restrict flow, combine with other debris, and cause costly damage, overflow, and even water pollution. By sticking to the 3 Ps, you can help prevent clogs, reduce repair costs, and keep our water clean. For items you can't flush, proper disposal is key. Throw regular waste in the garbage. Do not believe claims on packaging that products are flushable. Take it from Captain Clean, they are not. Household hazardous waste can be dropped off at Norfolk's temporary depots during spring and fall. For things like medication and sharps disposal, take them to your local pharmacy or the health unit. And remember, grease belongs in the trash, but let it cool and store it first. Don't pour it down the drain. Be a flushing hero like Captain Clean. Together we can protect our pipes, our homes, and the environment. Remember, only flush the 3 Ps. Norfolk County is counting on you.
Hi, I'm Dave. I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's water treatment facility. Here in Port Rowan, the water treatment process starts by pumping water from Lake Erie up into the water treatment facility. Back in the treatment facility, I inspect large clarification tanks where the lake water enters the plant. Here we add coagulant, a chemical that attracts dirt particles together. These form into larger particles called flock, which eventually sinks and is sent to waste. Next, the water enters the filtration system where any remaining dirt particles are trapped by the filters. The water is then chlorinated and sent into a 113 cubic meter underground storage chamber. The water is then taken to the granular activated carbon filters that work like supersized 10,000 pound Brita filters to remove taste and odor. The final step is disinfection, which includes UV and a final dose of chlorine, ensuring safe, potable drinking water. Water testing is an important part of the job. Throughout the day, we take water samples at different stages of the process, up to 9 tests depending on the treatment facility. As a Norfolk resident myself, I am proud to serve the community I live in. Thanks for joining me in this behind-the-scenes tour.
Hey Norfolk County, did you know that Ride Norfolk is now on demand? This means you can schedule Norfolk's public transit service to pick you up for appointments, shopping, school, or work. Ride Norfolk has partnered with Blaze Transit to offer on-demand pickups at all 95 stops across Norfolk, including this one. I booked my trip earlier today and my bus is here right on time. Since there are no fixed local schedules, you can easily book Ride Norfolk over the phone, online, or on the Blaze Transit app from your smartphone. Thanks, Charlie.
You're welcome.
Ride Norfolk's customer service team can help answer any questions you may have, get you started with the app, or book your next ride. By moving to on-demand, Ride Norfolk is helping more residents get where they need to go. To learn more, visit norfolkcounty.ca/transit.
Hi, I'm Marissa, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes for a quick look at what we do at Norfolk County's waste and recycling operations. Here at the transfer station in Simcoe, residents can bring a variety of waste materials for disposal. Norfolk operates 2 transfer stations, welcoming about 27,000 customers every year, and accepts material ranging from bulky items, wood, metal, and yard waste. Norfolk also provides curbside waste programs. Recycling from your home arrives at this facility where it is manually sorted by the type of material. You can see why it's important to separate materials into the correct bin, rinse recyclables, and remove items from bags. This facility processes 4,600 metric tons per year. That's equal to about 20 tons per day. Once items are sorted by material type, they are baled and ready to be shipped across North America to be made into new material. About 8 to 10% of the material that arrives here shouldn't have been put in the recycling bin. Residents can use our Recycle Coach app to confirm if an item can be recycled. After seeing how waste is handled, I hope this video helps show why rinsing and sorting your recyclables are important steps in the recycling process. As a Norfolk County employee, I am proud to serve the community I was raised in. Thanks for joining me on this behind-the-scenes tour.
This summer, discover the hidden gem of Norfolk County, Ontario's Garden. Stroll through historic villages where time seems to slow down. Feel the sand between your toes on our pristine Lake Erie beaches. From live theater that captivates to trails that wind through breathtaking landscapes, adventure and relaxation await at every turn. Meet the farmers who grow your dinner and taste wine and beer crafted right here. Experience Norfolk County this summer, where small-town charm meets farm-fresh flavor. Ontario's Garden. It's time you came home to it.
Hey Norfolk County, I'm Chris, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes to show you how Norfolk County manages stormwater in our towns and communities. Stormwater isn't just rain or melted snow. It's any excess water that runs off hard surfaces like roads, driveways, and rooftops. But where does that water go? And why is managing it important? Norfolk's stormwater systems include pipes, ditches, catch basins, and ponds that work together to manage this runoff. Stormwater systems like ponds slow the flow and allow dirt and pollutants to settle and release cleaner water into the environment. Without proper management, stormwater can flood basements, damage roads, and carry contaminants like oil, garbage, and salt into our rivers and lakes. That's why Norfolk County created a dedicated stormwater team in 2024 to better understand and maintain what we already have while planning for the future. This stormwater pond in Port Dover helps to reduce flooding and improve water quality. Over time, sediment and pollutants build up within storm ponds, limiting their ability to hold water. This creates an ideal environment for algae and invasive plants like Phragmites to flourish. This fast-growing species can block out the flow of water and crowd out native vegetation, reducing the habitat that local wildlife depends on. To restore this pond, we're removing the excess sediment and transporting it to a licensed site. We're also clearing invasive plants, reshaping the pond's banks, and upgrading the outlet that controls the flow of water. This work will improve water quality, allow the pond to hold more water, reduce flooding risks, and provide a healthier habitat for plants and wildlife. Stormwater management isn't just about what you see on the surface. It's also about the infrastructure underground. We use special tools to locate, map, and inspect the pipes and infrastructure that connect the ponds to the wider stormwater system. This helps us to understand how water moves through our communities and identify issues that need our attention. It's likely that you or someone that you know has been impacted by flooding, erosion, or drainage issues. All of that connects back to stormwater. Stormwater management isn't just about pipes and ponds. It's about protecting the communities and the nature that surrounds us. As Norfolk County grows, so does our responsibility to manage stormwater, and that's our job. With smart planning, hard work, and community support, we're building a cleaner, safer, and more resilient future together.
Welcome to Norfolk County, where land meets lake and opportunity grows deep and wide. Located on the north shore of Lake Erie, in the heart of southwestern Ontario, Norfolk spans 1,600 square kilometers, making us one of Ontario's largest single-tier municipalities. Our roots run deep in agriculture, food production, and advanced manufacturing, industries that shaped our past and are powering Ontario's future economy. Home to over 70,000, we are bold, diverse, and fiercely local. From Port Dover to Long Point, our folks are putting down roots, sometimes in sand, sometimes in soil, but always in a place they're proud to call home. Big land, big vision, unmatched potential. That's Norfolk.
Hey, Norfolk County. Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County. Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County.
Hey, Norfolk County.
My name is Bowden Winicki.
My name is Lindsay Kalyakoski.
My name is Alex Ryan. I work as a park student.
I work as an economic development coordinator.
I work on the roads department in Delhi.
I work as a supervisor for waste management.
I work as a committee coordinator in the clerk's department.
Okay, what's the first question? What I love about my job is the people.
All right, what do I love about my job?
It's really the community. No day is the same.
It is because I get to work with a bunch of great guys.
It directly impacts really positively the residents of Norfolk County.
I love the people that I get a chance to work with.
Every day is different. The mix of things is what makes me happy and keeps me going.
First and foremost, the community. The people of this community are so welcoming.
Is the amazing team I get to work with every day here at Norfolk County.
Opportunity to help people, to help my community.
One of the things I love the most about my job is my team. I love who I work with and what I do while I'm here.
I get to work on projects and in programs that support our community, that help make lives better for the people who live here, who work here, and who come here to visit.
Every day you feel like you've accomplished something on the way home, and you're working with a bunch of great people who are
equally as committed to the community and serving our communities.
The pace here is very good and great work-life balance.
They put wellness on the forefront, so I'm part of the Apple Committee, and there's lots of opportunity at Norfolk County.
Flexible work hours, great work-life balance, great staff, great friends, and of course, what's not to love about Norfolk County? We're Ontario's garden.
I love helping people, I love helping residents, and that's what makes Norfolk County a great place to come to work.
I chose to work for Norfolk County because I grew up in Delhi, so it's close to home, and I've enjoyed working for my community and my friends and family.
Definitely 100% the people. There are lots of community champions, and everyone's been so kind and welcoming.
Because I was born and raised here, and I wanted to help give back to my community.
I love giving back to a community that I grew up in. I love my team, and I love that I can leave a legacy here in the communities.
When I had the opportunity to come home and serve the public, I jumped at that opportunity.
I started my career as an area planner for this place. It's interesting that at the end of my career, this opportunity came up to come back and make Norfolk a better place.
Is being able to live and work in the community that we're a part of.
I did choose to work for Norfolk because I'm an engineer by trade, and I like to solve problems.
And realized how rewarding it was to be able to contribute to initiatives within the area that I've always called home.
I love it here. You should consider joining the public sector, joining the municipality, because it's so diverse. There's something for everyone. Local government is the closest to the people. We get to work with our residents day in and day out, and there is something for you in every department for Norfolk.
Hey, Norfolk County. Do you know how your property taxes are spent? Let's take a look together. First, we need to start with Norfolk County's budget. Every year, staff and council confirm the funds required to be collected from the property taxes paid by you and 35,000 other Norfolk County taxpayers. These funds contribute to Norfolk County's levy and capital budgets, which lay out how your tax dollars are used. The capital budget is also funded by the rate budget, the funds paid by residents known as ratepayers for water and wastewater services through their monthly water bill. The levy budget is used to deliver programs and services for residents ranging from emergency services like fire and EMS, waste services like garbage collection, recreation services like arenas, trails, and parks, maintenance services like snow removal and road repair, and human services like homelessness prevention and health education programs. Our levy budget also supports our libraries and museums, administrative services for council, and the many staff who keep Norfolk County operating. Services like recreation programs for children, adults, and seniors, and our Ride Norfolk transit program are also paid for with property taxes and supplemented by user fees. And across Ontario, a portion of each resident's property tax bill goes to our local school boards. About a third of the property taxes collected are allocated to the capital budget or reserves for future capital spending, which includes other funding sources like the federal and provincial government, reserve funds, grants, debt, and development charges, as well as funds from the rate budget. Together, the capital budget goes toward longer-term projects, such as our investments in water and wastewater facilities, as well as building and renewing our parks, roadways, pools, arenas, and other things we use every day. So the next time you hear someone ask, "Where are my property taxes going?" you can tell them to look down, look up, and look forward. Your tax dollars are at work all around you every day. When you visit your local park with your family, drive to work on cleared roads, register for swimming lessons, get rid of that old couch you've outgrown, or contact Service Norfolk about that pothole on your street that needs to be fixed. Your tax dollars are also being invested in initiatives to improve the lives of Norfolk County residents in the years to come to make Norfolk County a better place for future generations. While Norfolk County's budget is prepared once a year, your feedback helps us make decisions and plan for the future. We are committed to listening to you so that our budget reflects what is important to our community. Learn more about Norfolk County's budget at norfolkcounty.ca/budget.
Today we're announcing an exciting partnership with Scotland and Norfolk County Economic Development, and we're transforming transport trailers into mobile ambassadors. We're showcasing Norfolk's story of opportunity, excellence, and quality of life across all of North America, and Scotland is the ideal partner with an amazing logistics network and will help us share our story all across North America.
Hi, I'm Jacob, and I'm here to take you behind the scenes on a capital project in Norfolk County. We begin planning capital projects by analyzing our infrastructure needs related to roads, water mains, storm and sanitary sewers, as well as bridges. We assess their overall condition, age, and servicing requirements. This provides a solid foundation to ensure Norfolk has the hard infrastructure for current and future needs. Once a project is determined and approved by Council, we retain an engineer to complete the design. During this stage, we engage the public through public information centers or postings on the county website to inform them of the upcoming project and provide an opportunity to share feedback. After the design is completed and all approvals are in place, we hire a contractor through a public bidding process. During the construction phase, we track progress, budget, and continue to engage with the public. We also work with other departments to ensure the overall success of the project. Once complete, we report and track any warranty issues for 2 years. We measure a project's success by its ability to enhance infrastructure and positively impact residents. As a Norfolk County employee, I enjoy building the community that has given me so much. Thank you for taking the time to join me on this behind-the-scenes tour.
Deputations are a way for you and all residents of Norfolk County to speak before Council about relevant matters in our community. To begin, search www.norfolkcounty.ca. Then select the Government tab. Under the Government tab, select Provide Deputation/Speak at a Council or Committee Meeting. This page provides general information regarding deputations. Under the subheading Register to Speak, click the Public Hearing/Deputation Form link to pre-register your deputation. Notice of Collection. By checking the Notice of Collection box, you are agreeing to the above statement. Selecting the type of meeting you want. There are several types of meetings that allow deputations. Please listen closely as we explain each option. Council meeting. Council deputations must pertain to a matter listed on the upcoming meeting agenda. For the remaining meeting choices, you may present a deputation if the topic pertains to the committee you are presenting to. Once you select the type of meeting you want to deliver your deputation, you can complete the rest of the document. Now choose whether you will attend the meeting in person or virtually. Finally, select if you will be providing materials during your deputation. If you have materials for distribution during the council meeting, please bring 15 hard copies for council and staff. Now click Next to move to Step 2. In Step 2, please fill out your personal information. Once your personal information is completed, click Next. Lastly, review your information and select Next to submit your form. You have now completed the deputation request form. You will receive a confirmation email from the clerk's department that they've received your request. Next, we will talk about what to do on the day of your deputation.
So, you've received your approval and the day of your deputation is upon you. For starters, council is located here, at 50 Colburn Street. Now there's two entrances you can use when you arrive. One is here, located off Colburn, and one located off Talbot Street. When you arrive, you'll have three main options to park. The first is to park at the Simcoe Town Center Mall, which is where Food Basics is located. Your second option is 2-hour street parking on Court Street. And your third option is 2-hour street parking on Lott Street. If you can't find any parking in any of those three options, don't worry. Downtown Simcoe has plenty of street parking in all of the surrounding areas. If you enter through the Colburn Street doors, you'll have to make your way through the building to get to council chambers. But don't worry, if you require any assistance, you can feel free to ask Service Norfolk at the front desk. Make your way along this path and you'll end up in the main lobby. To your left, there'll be an elevator. You can either ring the bell or go ask the people at the front desk for assistance. If you don't need to use the elevator, you can head on up the green staircase and go up to council chambers. If you enter through the Talbot Street doors, the elevator will be immediately in front of you, or the green staircase will be ready for you to go up and deliver your presentation. Once you reach the top of the stairs, you'll have made it to council chambers. Feel free to take a seat here or here and wait for council to call your name when it's time to present. When council calls your name, make your way to the podium and ensure that you don't walk between the railing and the chairs on your way there. When you arrive at the podium, adjust it to your desired height using the arrow buttons and turn the microphone on using the button on the right. If you're giving your deputation in front of council, begin by saying, "Through the mayor." If you're giving it in front of a committee, begin by saying, "Through the chair." Then, clearly state your name and address, and you'll have 5 minutes to give your presentation. Upon having 1 minute remaining, the chair will give you notice. When you're finished your presentation, council may have questions for you. Ensure that you always begin your answer by saying "through the mayor" or "through the chair" to councilor and their last name. If you can't answer the question, that's okay. Inform council that you'll gather more information and get back to them. After that, council will have heard out what you've had to say and they'll take appropriate action as they deem necessary. And now you've finished your deputation. You can either have a seat and watch the rest of the meeting, or you can leave through the door that you came in and ensure that you leave as quietly as possible.
Hey Norfolk County, my name is Anna and
Well, the sound was all off, so anyway. And I'm sure in the council chamber, it was.
Welcome back, everyone. Motion to reconvene in open session 3:56 p.m. moved by Councillor Van Passen, seconded by Councillor Duthie. All in favor? That is carried. And to report out, item 18.1 was received as information. 18.2 was received a verbal update as information and direction was provided. 18.3 received as information, and 18.4 also verbal update received as information. Anything I missed there? Great. Confirming bylaw, motion to, let's see here, confirm the proceedings of the Council of Norfolk County, this regular council meeting held on the 27th day of January 2026 be read a first, second, and third time and finally passed in open session. Moved by Councillor Michelle and seconded by Councillor Berry. All in favor? Carried. And Councillor Michelle is moving adjournment 3:57 p.m. seconded by Councillor Duthie. All in favor? Carried. Thank you very much, everyone. Good afternoon.